Hi, I'm Dean Bills, and I'm currently playing Esper Mill at GP Detroit. We started off right now, we're 7-0, so we're locked for day 2, and we got 2 more rounds to go, hoping to finish up on the 9-0 track. Basically, the reason I decided to play Esper Mill today is you get a lot of free wins. All of the pod variants are basically free wins. You have some other free wins, and Scapeshift is almost a free win, and for the most part, like the bad matchups are like green-red Tron main deck because of Emrakul. People with shuffle effects are not great. You have to like hit very specific cards to be in those matchups at all, much less win them. And the mill cards, well, I started playing the deck because of there was a top 16 list. I actually took 16th place at the mocks, not this last one, but the one previous. And I started off with blue-black. It was very good, but you just weren't in a lot of matchups. Like if someone cast a turn 2 Tarmogoyf, you just lost. So I went with Esper Mill. Basically, the only card I'm playing is 3 Path to Exile, and that just shores up that matchup a lot, and it lets you win a lot of races, like Knight of the Reliquary and things like that, that are very powerful because you're milling them, aren't so much after you get to path them. And onto the mill cards, you've got Thought Scour, which basically, it's just draw a card. It's not great, but you are kind of land light with only 22 lands, so it just lets you draw a card and it lets you keep more hands. Hedron Crab is probably the best mill card in the deck if they don't deal with it immediately. So, like, if you play against this deck in a future event, what you're going to want to do is take out Hedron Crab as soon as you can see it, prioritize it way above, like, anything else. Like, countering another spell is not nearly as important as dealing with this guy, as early as you can do it. Glimpse the Unthinkable and Breaking the Entering are basically the same card. 1 mills 10, 1 mills 8. They both get spell snared. It's basically the same card. And Entering has a little bit of upside because in the Tron matchup, it's really hard to beat them with the Emrakul because you have to mill past it, whatever, and try to either surgical it or Crypt Incursion to get rid of it. What you can do is hide Breaking Entering under Shelldock Isle. And if you mill them down enough, what you can do is just take their Emrakul with the trigger on the stack with Entering and then just kill them with it. I haven't been able to do that this tournament, but I was able to beat Green-Red Tron without it anyway. The last mill card, or the other 2 mill cards, are Mind Funeral, which is very hit or miss. Sometimes you hit 4 lands against like Scapeshift and Blue, White, Red, because they're just playing so many lands. But against Affinity, like with 12 lands, like I got 24 cards earlier, and that's really, really powerful spell. So you don't want to have none of them, but it's definitely the weakest card, in my opinion. And the last one is Archive Trap, which sometimes you just get free wins. Double trap, triple trap. It's very hard to come back from that, no matter what deck you're playing. And Mesmeric Orb, depending on the matchup, like if they're playing aggro, it puts them in a weird spot where they can't really attack because they have to untap the permanents after they're done attacking, and they could just lose based on that alone. The interesting cards that aren't mill are Surgical Extraction and Crypt Incursion. Crypt Incursion lets you beat any aggro matchup, like green-red aggro with the Burning Tree Emissaries, or just junk, because you just gain so much life, like gain 42, go, and it's very hard for them to come back from that. And Surgical just lets you beat combo decks. Okay, I milled you 10 cards, I saw your Splinter Twin, take Splinter Twin. Now they have to find a 2-outer Kiki Jiki just to be even in the game, while you're still milling them the whole time. And the last card that's not a mill spell in the main deck is Visions of Beyond, which is basically Ancestral Recall. People really don't realize it, and I've been Inquisition and people have chosen other cards. It doesn't make any sense. It's basically Ancestral Recall. You get to play with Power 9. Take the card. Don't let them cast it against you. Interactions with Archive Trap that are interesting is because you're playing Path to Exile and Ghost Quarter, you're allowed to like put them in weird spots where Path to Exile is basically Swords of Plowshares. I get no value out of it. And Ghost Quarter is basically Strip Mine. I mean, they can search, but if you have the Archive Trap, like they're in this weird mode where like they can't really search, but they need the land as well. So you can get people just by bluffing as well. The rest of the lands, you've got 7 sack lands to help with the Hedron Crab, a few Darkslick Shores, and just 3 basics, 4 shock lands. Very, very simple mana base. And the sideboard we have is you've got Rest in Peace, and that comes in against anybody that's got Emrakul, or I just played Living End actually, and the card is just an absolute beating. It's very hard for those decks that are just graveyard interaction to beat. This is another reason that Esper is a lot better than Blue-Black, is Blue-Black was forced to play Leyline of the Void. which if you don't hit it immediately, you can cast it, but it doesn't exile the cards that are already there. Rest in Peace is just a strict upgrade, and you don't have to play 4 of them because you can just draw them later and you still get full value. Inquisition is mostly for the counterspell decks and discard decks like Junk, Jund. It just lets you strip their Tarmogoyfs or strip their discard to keep you in the game. Echoing Truth is basically, I have it in there for, obviously Twin, it's got some good applications in, and you want to be able to beat White Leyline, which is why you have Echoing Truth, and then you have Disenchant as well to try to beat White Leyline, because it's very hard to beat that card. All of your stuff targets, with the exception of Mesmeric Orb, and you're not going to win on the back of Mesmeric Orb alone. So you need outs to have against the White Leyline. A really bad Game 1 matchup as well is Robots, which is why we have the Stony Silence, the Disenchant, and the Engineered Explosives. If they resolve Cranial Plating, you almost just can't win. You have really not a lot of interaction, and Path to Exile is just not going to get there for you. So, but games 2 and 3, you get a lot better. You've got 7 cards that come in, 7 or 8 cards. It's very fine. And the last card in the sideboard is Crypt Incursion, and that's just because, like against a more aggro decks, you just need the 4th copy because sometimes they make you, or the discard decks, so they can discard the other ones that let you stay in the game, and it just brings you back. That's pretty much everything. That's Esper Mill, and we're hoping to finish strong today.